Hello, everybody. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. I haven't done one of these videos for a while. Combination of reasons, but the reason I'm doing it today is I've got a couple of questions, and I really appreciate your questions. So if you have any more, please do write to me in the comments, and then I will be very happy to make another video. So these are really good questions. The first one, the question says, I read an extract from The Joy of Living, which implied that trying to be a good person is not important, but realizing that we have potential is. This is confusing for me, as I thought following the Dharma was important. So The Joy of Living is a book by my teacher, Mingyur Rinpoche, and it's also a meditation program, which I am teaching from time to time, running groups. And so the Joy of Living approach is the one that I like to use for introducing people to meditation. So you may have seen my videos on meditation, and that's where I get my ideas. So my answer to this question is going to be based on the teachings that I've heard from the Joy of Living teachings. So we have view, meditation, and application. View is the cognitive, what we think, what we believe. Meditation is the experience, or maybe it's the perception. Experience is a good word. The experience based on the view, the experience based on the belief. And then conduct, application, is how we behave in accordance, or maybe even how we apply during activity. Meditation is kind of meant to be applied during activity, not just during meditation. So when we have meditation, you could say that's kind of an preparation for combining meditation in action, integrating it into our life, basically. So if you leave meditation separate from the rest of your life, it kind of works, but you don't really get the full benefit. If you want the full benefit of meditation, then you need two aspects of meditation. One is formal, one is informal. Formal meditation means you sit down and you practice meditation exclusively, doing nothing else at the same time, just meditation. Formal meditation is really important, but that's just the preparation for daily life meditation, mingling in integrating and mixing meditation with everything that we do 24 hours a day, even sleep. Sleep, Dalai Lama says sleep is the best meditation. So that's not the easiest one. Actually, it's probably the hardest one. But the point is, we can integrate with our life. What we apply in the meditation, we can apply in our life, in our activity. We have every kind of activity normally, like talking, walking, eating, working, thinking, normal things like that. They can all be applied anywhere, anytime. That's what Mingyur Rinpoche says. Anywhere, anytime, under any circumstances. And then, if you do that, then you get the benefit, the real benefit. And it all comes from view. Everything starts from the cognitive level, the understanding level, the conceptual level, the conceptual framework of our practice is where we start, where everything starts. Not just meditation, but it's our whole life is based on our view. And you could say that's like knowledge. And then knowledge plus experience becomes wisdom. When there's maybe 3 stages. So there's realization level is the final stage. The first stage is just intellectual understanding. And then intellectual understanding gradually becomes experiential understanding. And then that kind of gradually becomes realization when it's more stabilized, when it's more at the habitual level. So these 3 stages, intellectual, experiential, and realization, they match with the view, meditation, conduct, the cognitive, experiential, habitual. When something is habitual, then you don't need to think about it. It just spontaneously is there. And so we have all of these guidelines for how to behave. And they come under the category of conduct. But that doesn't mean we just have to focus on the view, first of all. We have to do all 3. We have to have the view, meditation, and conduct together. And actually, the more you understand the view, the better your conduct will become as a result. But you can actually work in reverse by working with the conduct level. You actually help yourself to develop meditation and the view. How does that work? Well, the conduct level has many kind of ethical guidelines for right sort of livelihood and right action and Buddhist principles of right living, not harming others, that kind of thing. They're all kind of you could say common sense based on compassion, based on the idea that we're all we all want to be happy. So maybe you could say we're all in the same boat, and we're all interconnected. So therefore, hurting somebody else is like the right hand hurting the left hand. It makes no sense at all, because when you hurt somebody, you're really hurting yourself. And the opposite of that is when you help somebody, you're helping yourself. So ethical guidelines in Buddhism come from that idea of kindness, compassion, wisdom, bringing benefit rather than bringing harm, being constructive rather than destructive, thinking of others rather than thinking of yourself. And there's many teachings about how we're interdependent with others, interconnected with others, not just on a small level, but on a vast level. We're interconnected with the whole universe. And by actually being as kind as possible to everyone, we are benefiting ourselves. You can't actually even really, according to Buddha, you can't achieve Buddhahood for yourself. You can only achieve Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. So Buddhahood is sometimes described as accomplishing the benefit of self and others. So we need others in order to accomplish the benefit of ourselves. And so everything's very interrelated. And if we practice good conduct, as the question says, following the Dharma, following the guidelines, the precepts, the ethics, moral values, this is right, this is wrong. If we follow that, then we help ourselves to have a peaceful life without conflict, without so much suffering, without creating so much suffering for self and others. The word Shila in Sanskrit means ethical behavior or discipline. And it has this idea of offering shade, offering a kind of shelter from suffering, like a refuge, like a kind of protection. And so these principles offer us protection, and we can use them in order to develop the view and the meditation. And then the view and the meditation help the conduct again, like almost like a positive spiral. Goes round and round. The more you understand the view, the more you understand the meditation and conduct, and vice versa. They all kind of support one another. So you shouldn't let the view get lost in the conduct, which means you shouldn't be so focused on the ethical right and wrong that you become somehow forgetting the view. Because the view means actually many times it means being beyond concept, being beyond right and wrong. So, of course, there are many, many stages of the view. The view changes. So we work with the view step by step, and the same with meditation, step by step. The same with conduct, step by step. But if you want to understand the view really well, you shouldn't let the view get lost in the conduct, which means that you become too tight. You think, oh, I shouldn't do this because this is wrong, and I should have to do that because this is right, and you get your mind is kind of stressed. Then the conduct's maybe not so helpful. You need to remember the view. And the other way around is you shouldn't let the conduct get lost in the view, which basically means only thinking about the view and the conduct doesn't matter. You need a balance. So the conduct does matter, but the view also matters. So there's sometimes people get lost in the view, and then they forget about the conduct. Because they think there's no right and wrong, there's no good and bad, it doesn't matter what I do. There's a story about the meditator who said, maybe I won't tell you that story. Should I tell you that story about the mouse? Okay, I'll tell you that story. So the meditator was um, in a cave and in meditating on emptiness. So emptiness is like beyond concept. So there's no right, there's no wrong, there's no good, there's no bad. But he doesn't like mice. And this mouse was kind of living in the cave. And while he was meditating, the mouse came in front of him. And he was thinking, my shoe is emptiness. He picked up his shoe. He said, the mouse is emptiness. And looked at the mouse. And he thought, death is emptiness. Wow. And he killed the mouse. And he completely missed the point that his aversion to the mouse was emptiness. And that's not the right thing to do. You need to remember the view and remember the conduct, which is not to harm others, to treat others as precious, divine, even. So recognizing the view means many, 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 many things. But there's always this idea of basic goodness in everything and respecting that. So maybe that answers the question. Then we have another question.